Hey guys, I'm the cook's assistant, and today we're making the bread from RuneScape. As we learned pretty early on in our RuneScape journey, the first thing we're going to need to make bread is some flour. But we want our bread to have a bit of flavour too, so we're going to mix in some of our secret ingredient first: salt. We've put our flour to one side for a minute because now it's time to prepare the yeast that's going to make our bread rise. To do this, we're going to stir some sugar into some blood temperature water until it's fully dissolved, before sprinkling in our yeast and giving it another light stir. We're going to set our yeast to one side for 10 minutes or until some foam has formed on the surface. At which point we're going to pour it into our flour, swiftly followed by some olive oil. Employing the help of our trusty dough scraper, which is essentially just a weird piece of plastic, we're going to give this a careful stir together until a shaggy dough begins to form. Once the dough begins to come together, we need to lightly flour our work surface before tipping the dough out, as now's the part where we earn all of the bread that we're going to consume later. Unfortunately, this means dealing with my old nemesis, exercise. We need to knead our bread dough using whatever technique works really. I tend to go with a pushing motion using the palm of my hands, switching between that and the various stretching and rolling techniques at random. By doing this, we're essentially working the gluten in our flour, which allows the dough to become supple. So, in other words, the better we do this now, the better our finished bread's gonna be. It's been about 20 minutes or so, and as you can see, our dough's gone from a sticky mess to something really smooth and supple. So, at this point, it's time to lightly oil our biggest bowl before placing in our dough, giving it a little coating in the oil, and covering the bowl with some cling film. Now, it's off to a warm place for an hour and a half, or until the dough's doubled in size. In my case, my bowl's also doubled in size, as here's one I made earlier. Now our dough's had its first prove and it's all light and airy, it's time to knock it back, which is baker's talk for push some of the air out of it. The RuneScape bread has quite a specific shape, so instead of a traditional loaf tin, we're going to need an oven tray which we've lined with a sheet of baking parchment. Then, taking our dough, we're going to carefully work this into a rounded log shape, doing our best to try and not remove every last bit of air from the dough or to tear it. Oh, you thought we were done? No, I'm afraid not, as this dough needs another 45 minutes under cling film in a warm place to re-air itself. Bread's one of those things that needs a lot of patience, but trust me, it's 100% worth it in the end. Here's our dough 45 minutes later, and as you can see, it now resembles a loaf of bread a lot more than before. The only thing that's left to do before we can bake it is to cut the RuneScape bread's 3 distinctive ridges into it with a very sharp knife. Now it's off to the oven for 25 to 30 minutes or until it's golden brown. With the patience of a saint, we now need to leave this to cool slightly before we even think about cutting into it. I know it's difficult, but trust me here guys. And here it is in all its bready glory. Honestly guys, I wish you could smell what I'm smelling right now. It's like a party for my nose and, well, it just smells good, okay? I'm just gonna dive right in here and cut a piece of this off. Yeah, I've already had lunch, but there's always room for fresh bread, right? Here's a close-up so you guys can see the nice air bubbles and the texture, and for now, just a little bit of butter. And yeah, oh yeah, I love bread. I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of this off camera, but once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.